Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Greg Atienza. Welcome to the first breakout session of the Asian Business Conference, Entrepreneurial Leadership, Driving Business Performance in Uncertain Times. This session will give you valuable insights on entrepreneurial leadership and will tackle critical questions such as how can companies develop innovative entrepreneurial leaders? And what best practices must businesses and companies adopt in order to create a culture of entrepreneurial leadership within the organization? In today's fast-changing world and with organizations navigating an uncertain future, leaders need to have growth and survival skills. They need to be agile, able to make decisions quickly, take action and learn from the results. They need to anticipate the future, respond to unforeseen circumstances, and adapt to change. It's time to introduce our accomplished speaker for this session. She is an artisan woven bag manufacturer who started Rorokenes, a local brand from Semarang, Central Java, Indonesia. Roro means princess, Kenes means agile and charming. Altogether, Rorokenes means noble woman who is active, intelligent, and has a refined social awareness. And this largely describes our speaker. She was recognized as the Femina Product Award for Best Wooden Bag of 2017 and is also the first place winner of Womenpreneur competition. Ladies and gentlemen, the founder and president of Rorokenes Indonesia, let's welcome Ms. Syanaz Nugroho.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Syanaz Nugroho, and I'm an artisan bake maker from Semarang, Central Java, Indonesia. I would like to express my gratitude for alumni ASEAN Institute of Management Philippines for inviting me in this venue. In here, I'm going to talk about entrepreneurial leadership and why it's needed, especially during VUCA time and the COVID era. Entrepreneurial leadership is widely needed, especially if we try to make a bigger portion in the middle class according to Maslow theory. In here, we know the words of VUCA: volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and then ambiguity. Especially during COVID-19, we face the uncertain future. With the new normal protocol happening, there's a lot of lacking that we are facing in our industry, especially for SMEs. There are a lot of expos being canceled domestically and then also internationally. And then not only about that part, but we are also facing the fast moving of the digital world, especially in the digital marketing. Those who are not capable or able to cope with the moving and then the knowledge of digital marketing is the one who's left behind. And then there's no borders between countries anymore. The borders is getting lesser and lesser and lesser. Therefore, the import and then export getting faster, especially with the imports issues. We be able to import goods from other countries very easily nowadays, and it's becoming threat to the production of the goods for some SMEs in some countries. Besides external factors that in the VUCA, we also have internal weaknesses, especially in entrepreneurs. What is that? It's a lack of values, lack of cultures, and also lack of managerial skills, which is weaknesses in operation or production, weaknesses in human resources, weaknesses in budgeting, and then also weakness in marketing. Combining of the internal factor and the external factors in SMEs can be devastating for the growth of entrepreneurs, especially SMEs. Therefore, we do really need entrepreneurial leadership. Entrepreneurial organization can be defined by its challenge and then also competitive strategies. Challenges of the normal, for example, is globalization, shortening product and technology life cycles, knowledge-driven, volatility, rampant change, complexity, hyper-competition, and then especially COVID-19, the new normal era. Some research even say that this kind of situation will be last for up to 3 to 4 years. And then we still seeing there's entrepreneurial opportunities, which is much lower market entry barriers. In here, knowledge, not money, is the most precious resources. Easier partner, search, and marketing. Example, by using internet. And then digitalization is also a threat. We also can have a big opportunity if we know how to explore it well. And then finally, it's not the big that it's the small, but it is the fastest that it's the slowest. And how are we be able to define our competitive strategies? We have to define our value clearly. We have to have like opportunity and driven business development. We have to be able to moving with speed, building distinctive capabilities according to our values, mission, vision, through our companies, as well as in the production and then also services that we are making. Continuous and systemic innovation. We have to be able to make differentiation among our competitors, and then we have to be able to make good networking system along our in production or our services. Combining entrepreneurs and leaders is a must, whereas sometimes we are also seeing in here entrepreneurs versus leaders. The tasks and demand of entrepreneurs and leaders can be combined. Major goal can be defined by this one. Major goal in entrepreneurs is only profit, but by seeing it as entrepreneurs leadership, we have to make the very good of it. Profit for the change for good. And then the time frame. Entrepreneurs only seeing it for the short or long run, but leaders seeing it in the future. How will we be able to make this time frame profitable, not just for the short or long run, but also for the future? Working for entrepreneur only working for their own enterprise or business, but for leaders, they are working for the social systems. How do we able to combine it that we are making the enterprise and business profitable, making a good social impact for the social systems? Resource availability for the entrepreneurs is low to medium, but in here, how we be able to maintain it in the medium level? Achieve orientation in the entrepreneurs is only medium, but in here, how we be able to take it into a higher level by asking more stakeholders to be involved in our process. Opportunity seeking in entrepreneurs, as is it say in the short or long run, is always seeking for the high opportunity or high profit. But in here, we are seeking it in the low one, but continuous, so that it will be able to make us more sustained. Innovation skill in here is high, but in the leaders, how we be able to combine it between high and then medium, so we be able to make innovation continuous from time to time. There are the key dimensions of entrepreneurial leadership. First one is knowing yourself, and then after that, focusing on the who before the what. The third one, having a clear vision of the future. Four, you have to be a great communication skills, and you have to have one. And then five, we have to have the strength to make the adaptability, adapt to any circumstances, and then build up our new strategies according to the situation and the condition that we are facing. 6, continuous learning. 7, create an atmosphere conducive to growth, not just for ourselves, but also for our people who work with us, and then for all the stakeholders and community that are working alongside with us. Therefore, from that part, we are able to make strategic business leaderships that in here is integrative, which is meaning you are able to make a compact system between inside your businesses that produce product or services, and then also through all the stakeholders that you are working along with that. You have to be able to create model-based problem solving. You build a strategic networks that is profitable to us, to all of us. So from all the previous slide, we are moving into strategic business leadership. What is strategic leadership? The strategic leadership is combining between integrative, model-based problem solving, building strategic networks, cultural fluency, leadership, strategy competitive advantage, negotiation influence and decision making, design thinking for innovation. This one had to be integrated beautifully and carefully. Integrative means in here that we have to know the mapping, who is our whole stakeholder, and then we be able to make the bridging between those stakeholders quite well, inside and out, internally and then also externally. We have to be able to create what kind of model-based problem solving that it will answer the needs of our target market according to our values. We have to be able to build a strategic networking between those external and then internal factors in our sector or in our businesses. Besides that, when we are talking about SMEs is heavily invested with culture, so that cultural fluency is a must. Why? By able to explore the cultures for the benefit of our product or our services, we be able to make a standout among our competitors, especially in the global market. And then after cultural fluency, there are leadership. As the owner, we have to be able to drive our team correctly according to our value, vision, mission, and objective. For the examples, even our OB or office boy has to know the value created within the company. From there, we be able to make a strategy and then competitive advantage so that we be able to distinguish ourselves among others, especially among our competitors. And then, negotiation influence and decision making is a must. Why is that? By entering global market, it means that we have to have a knowledge, a high level of knowledge or a skillful in making negotiation, especially if we are going to enter overseas market, especially for contract, legal, etc. And then the last one is design thinking for innovation. Talking about product, talking about services, especially in the VUCA time, we need to have innovation all the time. We have to make an innovation periodically. We cannot stop, because if we are stopping, it means that others will be able to take our market, which is that part is the one that we are avoided When we are talking about SMEs, when we are talking about entrepreneurs, when we are talking about leadership, more or less we are also talking about social entrepreneurship. Why is that? Because majority of entrepreneurs, especially SMEs, are the very base concept that they are developing is social entrepreneurship. And when we are talking about social entrepreneurship, we are talking about planet, we are talking about people, we are talking about purpose, and then we are talking about profit. That we have to make profit, yes, as our Professor Linlingan always to say, if you want to do well, you have to do good first. So professionalism and profit is a must. But professionalism and profit is not just the only thing. We have to maintain our planet as we are living in the planet Earth, and then we have to maintain the people within our company so that they be able to elevate their life. And then after that, we have to have a good purpose, that from the product or from the services that we are making, we make a good impact for our society. When we are talking about entrepreneurial leadership, we are talking about the combining of cognitive ambidexterity. We are talking about SEERS, which is social, environmental, economic responsibility, and then sustainability. And then we are also talking about SSA, which stands for social and self-awareness. Cognitive ambidexterity is about decision-making approach of entrepreneurs using prediction and creation logic. In here, especially when we are entering digital market area, we are talking about data, that we are able to execute our policies, we are able to execute our innovation based on the data, not just intuitive, not just prediction without anything, but we are able to make it through the data that we are gathered, so that when we are making innovation, we are making approach, it means that we are able to enter the market, we are able to sell it into our market through wholeheartedly based on the data that we are gathered. Is logic. And then when we are talking about SEERS, or social, environmental, economic responsibility, as well as sustainability, it focuses on demonstrating and ensuring sustainable growth through commitment and our services, popularly known as corporate social responsibility. Although SMEs, we are embedded into it. By making SEERS happen, it means that we are also making the pie getting bigger. If the market is not just getting into a small pie, but we are making the pie of the market bigger, so that the market is also sustained, which means that our product is going to be sustained as well in the future. SSA stands for social and self-awareness. In here, we have to be able to come and then aware of our blind spot. Where is or how is our background, our capabilities, and then the limitation that we have. We have and must know about. We must understand and know how to control emotion before it distorts our thinking and then mindset. We have to have a better understanding of where they are, where we are, where we are going to go, and then where we are need to go. Being self-aware will benefit an entrepreneurial leader with certainty while through decision-making situation. It also provides entrepreneurs with an ability to align and shape the social and economic opportunities that excite and connect themselves to their background, their cultures, their value, their strength to achieve the business goal that they really want, and to distinguish ourselves within our competitors. I still remember what my professor always say in my IEM era. If you want to do good, you have to do well. If you want to make a society better, if you make a good impact, you still have to do it professionally. No matter what product that you are making, no matter what services that you are produce. This one I really hold dearly in my mind and also in my heart. If you want to do good, you have to do well. Thank you very much, Professor Victor S. Limingan. This one, even I also put it on a plate and then put it on my wall in my office. And then there is a quote from Walt Disney that I really like. All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. What is your dream as an entrepreneur? What is your dream as a leader? What is your dream as entrepreneur as well as leader? Thank you very much.
Syanaz?
Hi Greg. Oh, thank you very much for having me in here.
Terima kasih. Welcome. So thank you, Syanaz. What a wonderful story you have, and a strong brand, a strong Indonesian brand, Rorokenes. Such an inspiration. Let me start off right away with this question from myself. Well, obviously, you're a woman, and there are very few women-led SMEs or businesses in Indonesia as well as throughout the region. So does the woman factor have any impact on the development of Rorokenes, on your production, on your marketing, on yourself as an entrepreneurial leader? Woman factor.
Yes, there is obviously there is a woman factor throughout all the process, from mainstream to downstreams. As for examples, our target market itself is women, and then half of our workers, in our house, in our production house, is also women. And then the clusters that are working with us, majority of them are also women. And then because our company is artisan and is also heavily involved into handcrafted, which is part of our culture, right? So the one who's making those handcrafted products as well as preserving the cultures is also the women. So it's basically impacted all. It's heavily impacted with where I can say there's a woman touch everywhere, anywhere.
Now, the fact that in Indonesia, it's as like in the rest of Asia, male-dominated society and economy. So how do you grapple with this? Is it an advantage or a disadvantage to be a woman entrepreneur?
Both, I can say both. Both.
Why
Because
is that?
I can see it. For example, like when we are talking about Rorokenes, we are talking also about feminism and also gender awareness. Where in here, by establishing Rorokenes the first start, I have to learn about the cultures that embedded within our country. And then obviously there is a gender and then as well as feminism perspective heavily implemented there in our culture before that. So the disadvantage that we are facing is not about male dominatory or whatsoever. The disadvantage in here is about the patriarchy system that we are facing. Like for when I studied the cultures, because like when we are going to establish the product, I have to study the culture first. It says in all our cultures that between men and women, it has to be equal, meaning that they are working side by side beautifully. It's not
Okay.
male dominating women or women dominating male, but we are talking about the beautifulness of what you what you called it, beautifulness of uh, in the
Complementing?
yes, exactly, complementing between both sides. So when we are talking about feminism, we are talking about the protection, the welfare of men, the protection and the welfare of the women, the protection and the welfare of the children, minority as well as indigenous people. So the disadvantage is like we are not facing men, but we are facing patriarchy systems. The advantage in here, I be able to not teach, but I be able to spread out the content, the deep content of our cultures, the deep content of our feminism based on our cultures in Indonesia, and make out a good product out of it.
Okay, very good. My next question is, and this is related to your presentation on knowing yourself, which is at the top of your pyramid. Can you tell your story, the Rorokenes story on this know yourself? How did you discover your strengths and weaknesses, and what led to your business? Please share.
Is it like by knowing yourself, you be able to know what kind of product or what kind of services that you are going to make. You know the position also in your society, and you know what do you want to achieve within those two. Without knowing it, it means that you are going to create a weak product or as well as weak services because you cannot define the value that you are going to create to answer the market needs. So in here, I see that there is a huge market that really wants to have a good bags, but with affordable price, and it has a majority of local content. And throughout the process, we humanize the people that working on it. We be able to balance between business and then also social, and it can create a good brand story. It can leverage your values nicely to your target market, and it can create loyal market after that throughout the times.
In this very competitive and very challenging time, is that not a detriment? You're well, obviously you want to be involved in the community, social awareness, sustainability. Does that not add mere cost to your product? Make it difficult?
No. Yes, in the first start, yeah. In the first start, yes. When you are going to start the business, it's going to cost you quite some times. But if we do it correctly, and then if we do it professionally, it doesn't mean that it cannot be happening in the future. I'm already in the 7 years. So first and the second years is blood and tears. I can say that, but
Okay.
it's blood and tears. But after third, fourth, fifth, sixth, you be able to know the foundation that we are built up, that we are doing so, and it helps the branding that we are doing. It helps the branding of Rorokenes in social media, into government, into our target market, and etc. It creates the trust that we are need to convince the target market that our product is good. Our product is not just good, but by buying our product, you also contributing to the society. You also promoting what we are so called gender, etc., gender, and then also sustainability concept.
Well, thank you. Now, let's talk about the other part of your presentation when you said It is not the big that eats the small, but it's the fast that eats the slow.
Yes,
Let's apply
correct.
that in Rorokenes. How does that apply in terms of your designing, design thinking, and how fast you execute and innovate? Please.
So like in here, I will say that data is the most important things because by data you be
Data, data.
data, yeah, yes, data. Because by data you be able to do the connecting dots between the needs of your target market, your value strategies, your cultures, and then all the uh, what do you call all the things that going on in between.
Mhm.
Especially you be able to by the it's not just by intuitive, it's not just by instinct, you have the very base of it. So by knowing the data quite well, and then and able to make the good dots between that, you be able to execute the strategy. For examples, what happened in before COVID era, before 2000 and
Okay.
2020.
Yes.
So in 2019, I think it's already in September 2019, there is a news came that there is a virus breakout in Wuhan, China. Even so, during that time, my government in Indonesia they haven't prepared yet for those kind of things. Some majority still saying that it's not going to come to Indonesia. But I remember that in 1900 there is a Spanish flu, right? And the impact of Spanish flu is quite damaging, up to 5 years. And during that time, the world is not as global as right now. So what happened during that time? Start from 2019 September, I tried to gather all the data that I be able to get from WHO for World Health, and then from Singapore, all the scientific journal, medical journal, FDA, CDC, and everything. I try to get it, and you'll be able to get it online. So by November 2019, we be able to make a solid and concrete strategy how we be able to overcome with COVID if
Mhm.
is it going to be happen, and voila, it's happened. So in last December 2019, I decided to first I have to do efficiency
Mhm.
for all the budgeting system that we are making. Second, I have to make sure that the production line is not going to be uh, affected by COVID. It
Mhm.
means that for the 6 months period from 2020, I had we have to be secure because some part like 10% of our uh, our parts is still being imported from China.
Okay.
And then the third one, while all the people, all my target market still having money to buy bags, I will pursue them. I will encourage them to buy our bags so that we be able to secure our cash flow for the next 6 or 7 months.
I see. So you were able to secure your supply chain
Yes, exactly. Supply chain
largely.
budgeting, etc. Yes, and then also
What
cash flow.
about your market? I think you have a largely export market. Is most of your sales export?
Is before that is the export is 70-30. 70% domestic, 30% is
Okay.
exported. So what happened in here? I know that there's going to be no expose because I used to have a three because we have I used to have about five expos going on in within a year domestically in Jakarta.
Expo. Yeah.
Expos, yes, expo exhibition, uh, visit overseas and also in Indonesia. And then the scale is internationally. I know that it's not going to be happen because there is a cancellation since the beginning of February. So during that part, I move everything into digital. I've already made the path though. I've already made the path through digital for digital marketing since 2000 since June 2019. But during that time, December 2019, we make the decision that 100% we are going to do it digitally, because we cannot expect from exhibition, we cannot expect from people coming in to our showroom, etc. So we have to maximize the digital, connecting the digital omni that we have. We have to maximize it to the most.
Okay, now let's go and talk about values. What are the values and qualities of Rorokenes as a brand, as an organization, and the critical initiatives that you have carried out that have kept you afloat and you believe will make you thrive in the future? What are these values? What are these qualities?
Product has and must be good. That's the bottom line. So I'm not just going to talk about product because like all people or the brand owner will say that our product is the best. And like I'm going to say also that Rorokenes is also good at everything. But after the product, what you are going to discuss next, what are you going to imply or what you're going to involve next, is about customer services, is about punctuality, and then also is about how you be able to prove it to your market that you are what you are saying in your branding, you also doing it in the real life.
Okay.
Downstream to mainstream. So when we are talking about Rorokenes, we are not just talking about how good is the fact that we are creating, but we are talking from the downstream first. How all the letter is going to be produced? Is it going to be harmful to the environment or not? Are we implying the waste management correctly? How's about all the report that needed if we are going to go globally?
Okay.
And then in our production side, how many waste that you are producing? Like for example, in Rorokenes, we only produce about 3% of our waste is about 3%, and then those 3% is also being we give it to our local crafter, so they be able to do upcycling product from it.
Okay.
And then we also do the trial. Yes. So like as I said before, we also heavily involved in gender awareness. It means that even in our SOP, we have to apply gender awareness system in there. How about menstruation leave for our employees? How about maternity leave, even for male workers?
Paternity leave.
Yeah, maternity leave for male workers. They be able to get it too. 5 days off. 5 days off, and also there is a benefit for them as well. And then after that part, this is the way that we are treating our employee. And then after that, how we are going to be able to announce or literate our target market about, for example, say domestic violence, sexual abuse. How do you able to comprehend that, and then seek help if you find any. So in every bag that they're going to buy, there is a flyer there explaining what is domestic violence, what is sexual abuse, and then where do they be able to get help. And even part of our profit goes to build up safe houses throughout the country.
Yeah,
So
fantastic.
it is like when we are talking about Rorokenes, it's not just about a brand. It's not just about how good is the product, because product has to be good. It's a bottom line there. Product has to be good. It has to be qualified. It has to be well curated so that we be able to sell it overseas. But then how are you going to be able to do it from downstreams to mainstreams? And then the impact, you still doing it. Is it all the impacts, all the branding that you are saying in your digital branding, etc. You also doing it inside your systems, and then
So
how it's
you
going to impact others.
you're treating your brand, your organization as a social enterprise as well. Is that right?
Yes, yes, that's correct.
Okay. Now let's project forward. Rorokenes right now is you own it largely,
Yes.
almost you're the sole proprietor. Then what is your strategic view? What about scaling up? So you've been there for 7 years, largely picking up more than just a startup. But what about scaling up?
Scaling up, yes, of course. I'm going to scale up. There is several questions asked by also by several people, including you, Greg. Are you going to scale up? Yes, of course, I'm going to scale up. But the meaning scale up in here, we don't want to lose our value, because we are surviving, we are living because of the value that we are believe in it and we are creating in it. So like the first phase of our industry, the first phase, like I make it into a pace which is like 5 years each. So the first phase in years is like we are in Rorokenes, we are establishing the foundation, the systems. What kind is the perfect system that be able to work nicely accordingly with our values, and
Yes.
then it answer also for the needs of our target market. The second phase, we are in the second phase right now because it's 7 years. Second phase is to penetrate more into the market, domestic market, how be able to captive, how much, how many our captive market domestically. And then after that, in the third phase is to when what you so call angel investors or investors be able
Okay,
to
so
come in.
you're open to partners, to investors.
Yes,
Okay.
as long as they are okay with our values and they're willing to work within our values.
Okay, good to know. Last question that I have for you, Syanaz. If there is anything that you wish to learn and to further grow, what would that be and why?
Uh, how to manage SMEs, especially in the 5.0 era. With
5.0.
AI, era. With AI and everything, it's coming though. It's coming already. Like for examples, when we are talking about digital marketing, when we are talking about omni channels, it's going to go into 5.0. Even like
Yeah.
for me, although for Rorokenes, for examples, although we are quite small, I'm also using cloud for our database to
Cloud.
storage,
Okay.
yeah, to storage everything. And it's just like, yeah, I think it's not in the future, correct, but probably just in the 10 or 20 steps more that AI is going to be implemented to read our cloud system. So if I be able to learn it, and then our fellows SMEs, small and medium enterprises, able to learn about how to manage omni-channel and then 5.0 and then AI. Before that, I'd be able to strengthen our position and do the jump start.
Okay. Well, it looks very promising, and good luck. More power to you. Thank you,
Thank you
Syanaz.
very much. It's all,
Terima
yeah,
kasih.
yeah.
It's been
Oh,
wonderful to
and
have you.
yeah,
Yes.
and Greg, this is all because of AEM. Yeah,
That's a
that,
plug for
that,
AIM, our alma mater,
yeah,
Asian Institute of
yes,
Management. Yeah.
exactly. This is because Asian Institute of Management. I can say that because the basic foundation that IAM gave it to me is very useful when I create when I create product. And I still remember what Professor Lim Lingan always
Mhm.
used to say: if you want to do good, you want to do well.
Do well. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And then also our professor in negotiation and conflict resolution.
Nieves, Confessor?
Yeah, professor. If you want to make, you have to make the pie bigger
Okay.
because the population is getting bigger as well. So we
Okay.
have to nurture, we have to maintain the pie. So we be able to generate, not generate, but be able to um, what do you call it? Make out the profit of it out of it fairly for all sides.
Okay. Let's end with that. A very happy note. And Syanaz, we are very honored to have you here in the Asian Business Conference. Thank you for sharing with us your success story, and we wish you well. We wish Rorokenes well. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Greg. Thank you for having me in here also for AM.
Thank you very much.